Hello, my name is Buyck. Number one talks about what is the purpose of this speech. I believe the purpose of this speech was to find credible sources, cite them correctly, and convey the information on these sources into the PowerPoint. Well, how did I feel going into this presentation? I felt a little overwhelmed because we had to have so many sources. Finding credible sources was difficult, and citing them was also difficult. But once you got into it, it wasn't that hard. It was just overwhelming at first. Briefly define speaker's ethos. How did you work to make sure your speaker ethos was high? Ethos is basically your reputation and the respect you get from your audience. I tried to find credible sources and cite them correctly to get my ethos higher in the speech, and I believe that worked well. Was your technology adequately prepared, and what could be done differently or better? I believe my technology was adequately prepared because our technology coordinator at our school is very good with this kind of stuff, and she helped me out with figuring most of the PowerPoint stuff out, which was very nice. What could I have done differently or better? I think the look of my PowerPoint, the PowerPoint was pretty bland, and I thought I could have spiced things up a little more, but it did its job. So next time I will try to have a little more curb appeal. What principles did you keep in mind when designing your PowerPoint presentation? I kept in mind the simplicity of it, and I tried to make the information the more important part instead of the looks of it, which is mainly what you should do when you're creating informative PowerPoint. And what I could have done differently is focus more on the speaking part instead of the writing part in the PowerPoint, all the words and stuff. I should have focused on that more. The speaking, I should say, than the writing part in the PowerPoint. In terms of structure and organization, what element felt natural to you? I think the introduction strategy and my transitions was what felt odd in my presentation, but I felt the introduction and conclusion came naturally. How did I consider my audience when developing my speech? I considered my audience because I wanted to give them the most accurate information and as giving it to them as clearly as possible. I felt like I did a good job in my PowerPoint. What did I do in my speech that worked and what didn't work? I believe all the information I gave and how I conveyed it worked very well, but what didn't work, I think my transitions were kind of abrupt and didn't flow very well with the speech. That's something I need to work on and have needed to work on for most speeches I've given.